way to end a gunfight.
Red Dead Redemption 2 might be set in the Wild West, but don't be fooled. This is one of the most detailed and immersive open-world experiences ever made. And it scratches that GTA-style freedom itch like few others can. Instead of cars, you've got horses, and instead of skyscrapers, there are rugged mountains and bustling frontier towns. But the formula of exploration, side activities, and endless player-driven chaos feels instantly familiar. The shooting mechanics are weighty and satisfying, with a dead-eye slow-motion system that makes every firefight cinematic, while the world itself feels alive with NPCs reacting dynamically to your actions. Whether you're robbing trains, hunting wildlife, or just picking fights in a saloon, the main story is praised as one of the best in gaming, with incredible voice acting and a character arc that rivals movies, while the sheer variety of side content, from poker games to legendary hunts, keeps players hooked for hundreds of hours. But for all its brilliance, the game has some weaknesses. The pacing of the main story can feel slow at times, especially for players who want non-stop action, and the realistic controls can feel clunky compared to GTA's faster arcade style. Cyberpunk 2077 takes the GTA formula, injects it with neon cybernetics and futuristic chaos, and throws you headfirst into Night City, a sprawling dystopian metropolis where crime, corporations, and rebels collide. At its core, it delivers that same open-world freedom. You can steal cars, cause mayhem, or dive into story-driven missions that combine stealth, hacking, and all-out gunfights. The gunplay feels fast and fluid, with a wide range of futuristic weapons and cybernetic abilities that let you customize combat to your style. Whether that's going in guns blazing, hacking security systems, or slicing enemies with a katana, exploration is another major strength. Night City feels alive with verticality, side gigs, gangs, and endless random encounters that keep the city buzzing with danger and opportunity. The branching storylines and multiple endings give the game replayability, with your choices shaping how your version of V's journey plays out. On the downside, Cyberpunk had a notoriously rocky launch, with bugs, crashes, and performance issues that frustrated players, especially on lower-end systems. Even now, some AI and police mechanics feel underwhelming compared to GTA's reactive chaos. Saints Row set out to reboot the franchise and bring back that mix of chaotic freedom and over-the-top action that made the series a cult favorite. Like GTA, it's all about running your criminal empire, stealing cars, and raising hell in an open world. But here the tone leans more toward humor, ridiculous stunts, and flashy customization. The game gives you a huge sandbox city called Santo Ileso to explore, full of missions, collectibles, and side hustles like insurance fraud and turf wars, and it doubles down on giving players the tools to go wild. Customization is one of its biggest strengths. You can make your character look as serious, stylish, or downright absurd as you want, and the same goes for vehicles and weapons. Gunfights are fast-paced, with goofy gadgets and exaggerated explosions keeping the chaos alive. However, despite the ambition, Saints Row comes with some rough edges. The humor often misses the mark compared to the sharper wit of earlier entries, and the story feels weaker and less memorable. Performance issues and buggy AI also hurt the overall experience, making it feel unpolished at launch.
Hey there, Chrome Dome. Guess it's my lucky day. You're mine.
Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition is one of the most underrated open-world gems that perfectly blends the crime-driven chaos of GTA with a martial arts twist. Set in a vibrant recreation of Hong Kong, the game puts you in the shoes of an undercover cop infiltrating the triads, which sets up an exciting balance between maintaining your cover and enforcing justice. Unlike GTA's gun-heavy combat, Sleeping Dogs shines with its melee system. Fluid hand-to-hand brawls inspired by kung fu movies where you can chain combos, counters, and brutal environmental takedowns that feel incredibly satisfying. Driving through the neon-soaked streets is smooth and responsive, with high-speed chases and shootouts that rival GTA's best moments. And the game world itself oozes atmosphere with bustling markets, karaoke bars, and side activities that make Hong Kong feel alive. The story is gripping, with strong characters and a mix of loyalty, betrayal, and personal stakes that keep you hooked until the end. On the downside, while the melee combat is outstanding, gunplay feels a bit less refined compared to GTA, and once you've explored most of the city, the side content can start to feel repetitive. The Precinct takes the open-world crime formula and flips it on its head by putting you in the shoes of the law instead of the outlaw, offering a GTA-like sandbox but from a police officer's perspective. Set in a gritty 1980s-inspired American city, the game focuses on patrolling the streets, responding to crimes, and keeping order while still giving you that sense of freedom to roam, drive, and interact with a living urban environment. One of its biggest strengths is its dynamic crime system. Events unfold across the city in real time, from car chases to robberies, and you have the choice of how to respond, which creates a feeling of constant unpredictability. Chasing down suspects, engaging in shootouts, and using non-lethal takedowns add layers of strategy, while the retro-inspired aesthetic gives the game a unique personality. The attention to detail in the city's atmosphere, from neon lights to dirty alleyways, makes exploration feel immersive even when you're just cruising around. That said, since it's still relatively new and evolving, some players point out that the mechanics can feel repetitive after long play sessions, with certain missions lacking variety. Also, the indie-scale budget shows in places with visuals and polish, not quite on the level of a blockbuster like GTA.
Spike strip is ready.
Rustler is basically GTA in medieval times, and it embraces that concept with a hilarious mix of open-world chaos, old-school visuals, and tongue-in-cheek humor. Instead of sports cars and assault rifles, you've got horses, swords, and crossbows. But the core spirit of wreaking havoc in a sandbox world is alive and well. The game drops you into a medieval kingdom, where you can take on story missions, participate in tournaments, rob peasants, or just go wild causing trouble across villages and castles. One of its biggest strengths is how it leans into comedy. Everything from silly anachronisms like horse insurance to the absurd dialogue keeps the experience lighthearted and unpredictable. Combat is simple but fun, letting you slash, shoot arrows, or even throw grenades. And the freedom to decide whether to play seriously or just mess around gives it strong replay value. However, Rustler isn't without its flaws. The combat system can feel clunky compared to modern action games, and the top-down perspective won't appeal to everyone, especially players expecting GTA's cinematic third-person style. The game is also relatively short compared to larger open-world titles, with side content that can get repetitive. APB. All Points Bulletin is one of the most ambitious attempts to recreate the GTA formula in a massively multiplayer online setting, putting players into a living city where criminals and enforcers clash constantly. The core hook is its player versus player design. You can choose to be a criminal running wild with robberies and chaos, or an enforcer trying to shut down their operations. This creates a dynamic sandbox where every mission feels unpredictable since you're going up against real people instead of scripted AI. One of its standout strengths is the insane customization system, allowing you to design your character, clothes, vehicles, and even logos in incredible detail, letting players create some of the most creative avatars seen in any online game. The driving and shooting mechanics are fast-paced and arcade-like, keeping missions high energy, and the teamwork element adds layers of strategy as squads coordinate to outsmart their rivals. But while the concept is amazing, APB has some serious flaws. The game has always struggled with balance, with matchmaking sometimes feeling unfair, and its technical issues, from performance problems to server instability, hurt the overall experience. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands takes the open-world chaos of GTA and combines it with tactical squad-based gameplay, dropping you into a massive recreation of Bolivia, where a drug cartel has taken over the entire country. Instead of being a lone criminal, you play as part of an elite special ops unit tasked with dismantling the cartel piece by piece, and the freedom in how you approach missions is one of its biggest strengths. You can go in guns blazing with helicopters and assault rifles, or take a stealthy approach with silenced weapons, night vision, and coordinated takedowns with your AI or co-op squad. The sheer scale of the map is breathtaking, featuring deserts, jungles, mountains, and villages that make exploration just as fun as the missions themselves, and the vehicles, ranging from dirt bikes to planes, add that GTA-style freedom of traversal. Co-op is a highlight, turning every mission into a sandbox of chaos and creativity with friends, whether you're sinking sniper shots or crashing helicopters into enemy bases. On the downside, the story isn't particularly strong, with repetitive cartel leaders to hunt down and a narrative that feels flat compared to the emergent gameplay. AI teammates can also feel dumb at times, making solo play less satisfying than co-op. .171 is often referred to as the Brazilian GTA, and for good reason. It's an open-world crime game that captures the same formula of urban chaos, but with a setting and style that feels raw, gritty, and rooted in South American culture. The game throws you into a fictional city, heavily inspired by real Brazilian neighborhoods, complete with graffiti-covered walls, favelas, and bustling streets full of life. Like GTA, you can steal cars, engage in shootouts, or just wander around causing mayhem. And the sandbox freedom is one of its biggest strengths. What makes 171 stand out is its authenticity. The music, slang, and atmosphere reflect Brazilian street culture, giving it a distinct identity instead of feeling like a simple clone. The shooting and driving mechanics are straightforward and functional, with a focus on fast-paced action and exploration. And the dynamic NPC interactions make the city feel reactive to your chaos. However, as an indie project, 171 has its limitations. The game is still in development, so polish, mission variety, and AI behavior aren't at the same level as bigger titles like GTA or Cyberpunk. Performance can also be inconsistent, especially on lower-end PCs. Saints Row. The third is pure open-world mayhem, cranked to maximum absurdity, and it stands as one of the most fun GTA alternatives you can play. Unlike GTA's mix of realism and satire, this game fully embraces ridiculous chaos. You're not just stealing cars and running a gang, you're skydiving into shootouts, fighting luchadors, and even using outrageous weapons like the infamous dubstep gun. The remastered version gives the game a fresh coat of paint, with updated visuals, sharper lighting, and improved textures that make the over-the-top action look even better on modern systems. Its biggest strength is freedom. You can customize your character, vehicles, and gang to an insane degree, letting you shape the city of Steelport in your own outrageous style. The missions are wildly creative, throwing you into scenarios that constantly escalate in craziness, and co-op play takes the fun to another level when you and a friend wreak havoc together. That said, Saints Row. The third isn't for everyone. Its humor can feel juvenile or over the top, especially if you prefer the grounded storytelling of GTA, and some players might find the non-stop silliness overwhelming. The remaster also, while polished, doesn't add much new content beyond visuals, so veterans of the original might not find it essential.
You're fucking with?